In this new series, I'm going to showcase my favorite illustrators and analyze their artwork. Join me if you want to learn the secret ingredients of their illustrations, what makes their work stand out and sell like hotcakes on stock sites. In this first episode, we will take a closer look at the gorgeous art of Marina from Molesko Studio. The work of this artist really stands out on Adobe stock because of the colors used and also the playful characters and details included in all of the illustrations. Most of them are quite complex and have a lot of details, and these are really popular on stock sites because whoever purchases them will be able to move things around and create a variety of things from just a single licensed asset. So here's an example from Molesko Studio in Illustrator, and we can see that the work is divided into two layers. So we have these background elements for the map, and then we have all the additional little illustration on top. Now, if I zoom closer, you can see how detailed these are, like this chameleon here. And the good thing is that everything is grouped separately, so it's very easy to move it around, reorganize things, and even change colors if necessary. Some other complex illustrations on stock sites are not as nicely and neatly organized, so it's definitely a joy to work with files like this. And if we go into outline view, we can see that definitely everything is vector based. Even the text, which is digital hand lettering, which is not relying on any fonts. Now, there are some obvious repeated elements in the artwork, like this bird here. We can see it actually being quite close to each other. That's maybe something that I would replace or at least shift around and move around. But of course, this is a common practice for most illustrators that they would reuse elements, not just within the same asset, but also amongst many of their illustrations that are available on a stock site. So as an example, we can see these rainbows showing up in many different assets. And it's just like a different collection of them or combined with other assets or maybe in a different color theme. And that is actually a very smart thing to do, repurposing details in various assets, because you are not restricted at all to repurpose content as long as it's not exactly the same as another asset that you are already uploaded on the stock site. Now here is another gorgeous artwork from Molesko Studio. This artwork is organized into two main groups, the one at the bottom and then this one here with the text on the top. And there's also a couple of elements outside of it. Now, if we zoom closer, we can see that most of these details are actually drawn most likely with the Blob Brush. I can recognize these shapes here. I would probably draw them with Blob Brush, but also these details, I feel like that was the main tool used in this case. And the advantage of the Blob Brush is that you can easily expand the details further. So if I just zoom closer here and select it, it's Shift B, the shortcut, you can very quickly add and combine into existing shapes that you already created. When you use this tool, a good way to tidy the outline up is to simplify the path, which you can find under Object Path Simplify. And this is actually a feature that recently got updated, so it got a little bit easier to use. And I actually use a shortcut for it, which you can customize from the Edit Keyboard Shortcuts area. So I use function 3 or F3, and with this I can very quickly reduce or increase the points and find the right amount. That probably looks good. And if I need more options, I can go into further refine these settings. For now, I'm just going to click OK, and we can see before and after. So we have much less anchor points after the simplification. The less anchor points you have, the easier it is to make changes and also easier to work with your file in general. It's also worth pointing out that another useful feature in Illustrator is very nicely used in this file. It's the clipping mask, which is used on all of these letters. So if we select one of these and double click on it, that isolates that group. Now I can select that letter inside it, and we can see here in the layers panel that there is our clipping mask. So the letter A, that's a compound path by the way, because it has that little gap map inside it as well. So if I turn that off, we can see that it's possible to see the illustration inside it without that outline. When I turn it back on, we can see that it not only confines the illustration, but also adds a background color. And that's another cool thing about Illustrator. Whenever you use a clipping mask, you can assign a color to it, and no matter what you place inside the clipping group, that color will always be in the background. So you can see here as well, in terms of the stacking order, the group underneath it feels like should be behind that background color, but it doesn't matter where we place this clipping mask. As I said, it's always going to be used as the backdrop of whatever is placed inside the clipping group. If you are planning to use text in your illustration for clipping mask and you want to start with a font instead of doing digital hand lettering like here with Molesko Studio's work, then you first will need to make sure that you turn your text into outlines. So here, this text, I can turn it into outlines very quickly by pressing Command or Control Shift O, and that will create separate compound paths for each of the letters. I would normally then combine this into a single compound path by pressing Command or Control 8. Once you have that single compound path, you can select everything else together and then press Command or Control 7. And at this point, you can go inside the clip group, select the compound path again, and assign a fill color to it. Now, this is the best time to do it, because first of all, you can see all the details together at this point, but also whenever you create your clipping mask, by default, you would lose all the colors immediately from your mask as soon as the group is created. Make sure you check out Marina's website, for which the link is in the description below, where besides her gorgeous artwork, you can also find a cool blog where she shares stuff like her sketches and a couple of interesting behind the scenes of how her illustrations are created. Thanks a lot for watching. Like and share this video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we release new videos. Click on the link on my right and start your membership today to get access to over 200 hours of training courses and personal mentoring by me and my team of creative professionals. Have fun learning, guys, and I will see you in the next one.